Today's Spinal Reset class is the perfect class to keep your back feeling vibrant and feeling fantastic. It's also a great practice if maybe your back's feeling a little bit tired, a little bit sore, or a little bit overworked. So let's hop on our mats and give our back some love.
Starting our Spinal Reset class in this nice crouching position. Let your knees splay a little bit wide, let your head bow heavy. Let your tail sink down towards your mat. Let your back round a little here, releasing all of the tension. Perfect, and then bringing yourself down onto your mat, coming onto all fours. We're gonna start with some cats and cows. So as you inhale, tip your tailbone up, arch your back, lifting your head, lifting your eyes. And as you exhale, moving into cat, scooping your tail under, rounding your back, and finishing by dropping your chin. Inhale, and exhale as you move through cat. Inhale, move through cow, and exhale, lift into cat. Taking a few more rounds, continuing to breathe deeply, and if you feel like you want to move a little bit slower, breathe a little bit slower. If you want to move a little bit faster, breathe a little bit faster, but really feeling all the movement that's happening from your hips right to the tip of your head. And focus on moving through the tail first and the head last to get the most movement that we can through our whole hip and spine area. Especially since today's class is about spinal reset. So this is really a feel great class, either just to keep your back feeling great or to lend a little bit of a helping hand if maybe your back is a little bit tight, tense, sore, overworked, you name it. And those cat-cows are really just lubricating and warming up the whole spinal column. Wonderful. And then just sitting back into resting child's pose. Take your knees wide here, rest your head down, and let your hips really feel like they're being pulled down towards your mat. Perfect, and then come on up just to seated, and you're gonna sit back onto your mat, stretching your legs out in front of you. And we're gonna come into a seated forward fold, sitting up nice and high on your sitting bones. And if you know that your lower back is feeling a little extra tight or tense today, or you know that you're not super mobile in forward folds, it's a little bit challenging for you, take a small cushion or a pillow and tuck it underneath your bum, or you can roll up the back of your mat just to add a little bit of extra cushion there. As you pull your toes back towards your shins, sitting high on your sitting bones, reach forward with your belly button as you start to fold down. And then once you get as far as you can, relax your head and let your body round and release the tension through your spine here, making sure that you're not putting yourself in too deep of a stretch. So you feel gentle tension but not pain. You can still breathe. And if at any point things start to feel a little bit looser, let yourself sink down just a little bit more. But remember, it's really not a strive to get lower and lower. It's really about finding just the perfect amount of stretch for you. So don't overdo it here. Not everybody is going to put their chest on top of their thighs or bring their forehead down to their shins. So just go where you're comfortable, where you're feeling enough of a stretch. And if you're particularly tight, that could still be pretty upright with your chin dropping to release the tension through the back of the neck and the shoulders as well. Taking just a couple more breaths here. Perfect, and as you inhale, come all the way up. And maybe just take a little sit back. As you lean back, open up through the chest and shoulders. It can feel really nice after a forward fold. Perfect. And then we're gonna scooch back ahead onto our stomachs to work on back bending a little bit more. So we were just moving forward and now we're bending back. We're gonna start with just some nice, easy cobras. So get yourself comfortable, legs a little bit apart, hands underneath the shoulders. And I want you to focus on lifting with the muscles in your back to start, as opposed to pressing into your hands. So I want you to be able to lift your hands off the ground here. We're gonna keep them down, but on the first one, you can always lift one to see that you are using your muscles and not pressing too deeply here. So inhale, lift for cobra, lift your eyes, lift your chin. And as you exhale, flatten, bring yourself back down. Inhale, lift like you're shining your heart forward, elbows tucking in by your sides. Exhale, release. And as we inhale, lift the eyes, lift the chin, stretch the toes way back. Remember, it's about making space in our spine here. So you're really trying to stretch your back out and release. And now bring your elbows further forward. So your elbows are underneath your shoulders here as we come into Sphinx pose. And this is just an extension of Cobra, so we can always make this more gentle. If this right here is too deep of a back bend for you, you can walk your hands further forward to make the bend a little bit gentler, or find anywhere in between that works for you. But it's the same here. We want to lift our head. We want to stretch our toes back. It's like you're putting yourself in a tiny bit of traction, just to eke out any little bit of extra space that can be had in your back. And it's that space, that's what we covet. It's that space to roam freely, to move freely, that makes our back happy, or the lack of space due to tight muscles, tension. Sometimes we're pinching a nerve. That's what can be causing the pain here. Let your hips feel heavy, like they're sinking down towards the mat, where everything else is extending out through the toes, extending out through your head, keeping your shoulders away from your ears. Good, and let yourself come down flat. And let's lift back up into Sphinx. And this time, if you feel like you want to straighten your arms here, go ahead and straighten your arms either part way or all the way. Listen to your body here. So sometimes a little bit of compression through the spine can be very therapeutic, but we want to make sure that we're not feeling pain here, and we're doing it when we're in as long a body as possible. So very mindfully. Go ahead and release, come down. And 2 more times. Inhale, lift your eyes, lift your chin, and exhale, let yourself come back down. And 1 more time, lift and lower. And then just coming back to that Sphinx position where we're on our elbows here. And we can choose to stay right here, or we can add a little bit of a twist to this and go cautiously with the twist. When we look at backs, especially if your back is sore, for many people, twists can be therapeutic and can feel great, but sometimes for some back conditions, twists don't feel fantastic. So if you know that twisting is not for you, just stay in regular Sphinx. If you want to go ahead and attempt the twist, you're going to straighten your right arm. So this just brings us into a baby little twisted Sphinx here. Looking over the shoulder, breathing deep, and bring the elbow back down. And then straighten the left arm, so push into the left hand and then turn and look over the shoulder. Wonderful, and bring your elbows back down and let yourself come all the way flat here. Bring your forehead down. And just let everything release here for a moment. So making sure you're not holding tension, you're not clenching your buttocks. And then coming back into that Sphinx position, we're going to do a few core activators, because having a nice strong core is paramount when it comes to keeping your back nice and strong and safe, as well as good movement through the hips and the spine. So you're gonna press your toes into the mat, keep your knees down on the floor. You're gonna tuck your chin towards your chest as far as you can, and then activate your core as you lift your tummy, or try to lift your tummy just off the mat. It might not come all the way up. Scoop your tailbone under. Take a breath here. And then exhale, release, lower your hips down and come back to Sphinx. So what you should be feeling there when we do that activation, it's a real deep reflexive core switch on. And you'll kind of even start to feel a shake or a shudder or a twitching. That's how you know you've got the right muscles activating. And it doesn't matter how strong you are, you'll feel that contraction. Good, let's do 2 more. Tuck your chin under, peel away from the floor. Don't hold your breath here, take a big breath. Release, lower your hips, and lift. And one more time, scoop your chin, tuck your tail, take a breath, and release back to Sphinx, long Sphinx. And then bring yourself all the way back down to the bottom. Perfect, and let's roll over onto your back now. Tucking your knees into your chest. And if you want to just take a couple of little rocks, a little rolls here, that can feel really like a nice little massage for your back. For some people, if their back's really bony, it doesn't feel so great. And now stretch your arms out into a T. And we're going to move into a double knee twist here. So we're first going to twist towards the right. So let your knees roll towards the right side. And if your knees don't easily touch the ground, you can slide your arm underneath to create a little bit of a ledge, or tuck one of your props or cushions underneath there. You might also enjoy a cushion between your thighs here, or add a little bit of gentle pressure on towards the top knee. And then maybe take that twist a little bit deeper as you turn and look towards your outstretched left hand. Of course, a little bit easier would be eyes stay towards the ceiling, or gentler still, eyes look towards the bent knees. So finding the variation that feels nice for you, and if you know that twisting is not something that feels good for your particular back, then take yourself into another pose that you do know feels good. Perfect, and let's roll back to the center. Give your knees just a little squeeze here. And then stretch your arms back out into a T. Keep your knees tucked up nice and high. And then let yourself roll towards the left side. Aiming to keep your shoulders as much on your mat as you can manage. And if your shoulder's peeling way off the mat, then you know you're twisting a little bit too far, and let's prop up the knees by using your arm or adding a cushion there. Finding the eye position that pleases your back. Perfect, and roll back to the center. And now let's tuck yourself into a nice little ball, either with your head still on your mat or curl your head up towards your knees. Take a big breath in, exhale, and let's just stretch our whole body out. So stretch your arms out as far as they'll go, the legs as far as they'll go. Taking a couple of nice deep breaths here. Whether this is the start of the day or the end of your day, hopefully your back is feeling amazing. You can tuck yourself into a little ball just to help you roll back up to seated. Thank you so much for joining me for today's class. If you are watching my videos and you like the class, make sure that you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell button so that you get notifications anytime I put out new content. See you next time. Namaste.